These terror organizations, with the support of our allies, are getting stronger and stronger, and they are attempting to create a terror state. But today, some countries are very uncomfortable with this operation. We know the reason for this. And the reason for this is because we ruined the game. Because they were trying to build a terror state in this area. This was very clear. And if you look at the countries who give the strongest reaction, is France. They want to create a terror state in this region. And they are having very serious work in these areas. And the reason why they're attacking us so ferociously is because we've ruined their game. And so this is their disappointment. And on the last 2 years, the eastern Iraq, and from that area, there have been a lot of attacks as the nation. The tunnels, YPG and PYD terror tunnels, and at the eastern side of the Euphrates, there were camps that were training these terrorists, but we prevented a lot of these terror attacks. In Afrin, in Jarablus, they have killed a lot of civilians, and they displaced these civilians, and YPG and PKK were never hesitant to make cooperation with Daesh as well. But some Daesh criminals were actually moved away, were removed with buses, and YPG terrorists were helping them. This is within our information that YPG and PKK gave Daesh members to make operations, to make terror attacks in our country. You know, some countries are using PKK and YPG as representatives in this region, but the YPG and PKK actually releasing the Daesh. While terror is becoming stronger, they are not only forcing the Arabs, the Kurds, the Christians to join the party. Even from other countries, there are some church representatives in Holland. They're complaining that some of their people from their congregation were actually forced to join into these. If there are 350,000 Kurdish refugees in our country, I ask them, why, if we are targeting Kurds in this region, why are they coming to our country? Why are we hosting these refugees in our country? But they don't want to talk about this. As I said, unfortunately, they have different problems. For tens of Arabic, they have ruined their demographics that lasted for 1,000 years. But PKK has ruined this demographic, and there's only a bunch of terrorists in this region. Unfortunately, they engineered the demographics of this region. More than 1 million people were displaced, and some Arabic children were prevented to have Arabic education by YPG and PKK. They were closed, those schools, by YPG and PKK. In Tel Abyad, in Halcheke, unfortunately, there is oppression by these terror organizations, but they were shooting them indiscriminately, all these civilians, when they were standing up against this oppression. There is whatever you can imagine as a human crime crime against humanity, they have committed those crimes, YPG and PKK. This isn't something that we're making up. This is the report. This is in the reports of Human Rights Watch and United Nations. There are reports on this. Dear friends, honorable friends, PKK and the likes of it, we know them very well. The double standard of the Western countries to these terror organizations, we know this very well as well. Turkish republics fight against terror organizations. We always chose to have our alliance with our. We always support our allies. We try to explain to them the situation, but our efforts to work together against YPG and PKK were actually blocked by American bureaucracy. In 90 days, they were going to be removed from Manbij. It's been 16 months, but YPG is still in Manbij. In 2018, December, our Prime Minister spoke to Mr. Trump, and there were promises given in that phone conversation. However, these were not delivered. The PKK, YPG, so American soldiers have not been withdrawn. In 14th of December 2019, Trump were giving promises. They were giving positive answers for the request of our Prime Minister creating a safe zone around this area that has 32-kilometer depth from Manbij to northern Iraq. However, this American army hasn't been listening to their own president. But the withdrawal decision, following the withdrawal decision, we were trying to create a safe zone, and we had 3 different meetings. We have expressed our expectations to United States, and lately our Defense Department and American Defense Departments had an agreement. I would like to explain this agreement as well. One, the Americans promised us that PKK, YPG are going to be taken, the heavy arms are going to be taken away from PKK, YPG. So we always say all the arms that have been given to them were going to be taken away, but this agreement wasn't delivered. None of these promises were delivered, unfortunately. So a safe zone, our efforts and our deliberations with the United States regarding a safe zone were not successful. So at the end, we are using the right of self-defense. We have expressed many times that we are going to use our right to self-defense, and we always said that we are not going to tolerate a terror zone over our border. We always gave the messages that these terror organizations are actually threatening the territorial integrity of Syria, but they did not care. As a result, to protect the security of our nation and our country, and to establish safe security and peace in our region, we had to start the operation. Within that scope, our president, at 9th of October, Turkish security forces started the Peace Spring operation. Has our president given the order? Before giving the order, our president, as I said earlier, all these efforts that I have mentioned earlier were not met with results. So we have warned many times, and we have our president also informed Mr. Trump before the operation. After the operation and before the operation, We have prepared ourselves. We have informed Astana guarantees. We have informed Secretary of United Nations. We have wrote a letter to the head of United Nations Security Council. Also, the permanent members we have informed as well, and NATO General Secretary and NATO Council we have informed. You know that he just visited our country recently, and even before that, we have given him a briefing. During the Olive Branch operation, again, even Syrian regime, we gave them a notification as well. And in that notification and in the other letters, we have explained how did we come to this point. As I just mentioned to you earlier, all these steps that we have taken previously, and we have listed all our rights within the international international legal rights. And we always expressed and emphasized that we are respectful to Syria's territorial integrity. With our diplomats outside our country and in Ankara, we always tried to explain the targets, our aim for our operation, and we have also responding to the black propaganda that has been carried out against Turkish efforts. Also, the foreign minister of Iran and foreign minister of Russia and all the other countries, we have met them and we have given them information, and we are continuing our work as the foreign ministry in order to express the aim of the operation. So we are continuing our work with the support of our country and our nation. And I would like to thank all my friends for their work and for their efforts. And
all right, that was.
I would like to thank also the Turkish Council for their support as well. Dear honorable friends and the speaker, the peace operations aim, what is it? The aim is to eliminate the terrorists around a region and to maintain the security of our borders, also to save the people who live in the region from the oppression of terror organizations, also to secure the territorial integrity of Syria. And we also want to make sure that the Syrian refugees will be repatriated with their voluntarily will be repatriated and go back to their country. And we are using our right, our legitimate right in NATO, the 5th article, and we are acting within the scope of United Nations